Welcome back to Broadway World's Next on Stage, sponsored by Broadway Records. I'm your host, Richard Ridge. Last week we announced our top 30 in our college group, and tonight we're back to announce the top 15. Our top 15 tonight received the most votes in our second week of voting, which opened on October 9th and closed last night at midnight. You voted them into the top 15, and now our judges will give them valuable feedback for them to use in their next performances, which will be voted on by the public next week. The judges will also review the performances from the bottom 3 contestants who did make the top 15, giving one of them a chance to compete for a spot in the top 10 and for your votes. We'll be showing shortened clips of each performance, but if you want to see their clips in their entirety, head over to broadwayworld.com/nextonstage. Now let's welcome our judges. She most recently starred as Karen Smith in Mean Girls on Broadway, but you might also know her from Bring It On, Rock of Ages, and Legally Blonde. Welcome back, Kate Rockwell.
Yay!
Hey, Kate, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I'm still in this room. Nothing has changed in so many months.
Here we are, season 2. Here we go. Our next judge, she originated the role of Princess Jasmine in Disney's smash Broadway hit Aladdin, and she's back again this season. Please say hello to Courtney Reed.
Yay!
Welcome back. You're in a different room this year, right?
Back with creepy dolls.
Fabulous.
Your childhood bedroom. Sorry, Tiff.
Well, we love it. We're thrilled you're back for season 2. And here we go. And joining us as a special guest judge this week, you might know her as her turn as Elphaba in Wicked. Please say hello to Jackie Burns.
Hi.
Hey, Jackie, thanks for joining us as our guest judge today.
You got it.
We got it. All righty. Judges, are you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. First up is Nick Cortazzo. Nick will be singing Come What May from Moulin Rouge. His dream role would be Fiyero in Wicked. This is for you, Jackie. Judges, enjoy.
I could feel like this, like I've never seen the sky before. I want to vanish inside your kiss. Every day I love you more and more. Listen to my heart, can you hear it sing? Telling me to give you everything. Seasons may change, winter to spring, but I'll love you until the end of time. And there's no mountain too high, no river too wide. Sing out this song and I'll be there by your side. Storm clouds may gather and stars may collide, but I'll love you until the end of time.
Wow, Nick, what a way to kick off.
What a start, my God.
Kate, I'll start with you. What do you think of Nick?
Wow, what a nice intro to season 2. Thank you, Broadway World, for my afternoon. Wow. Okay, Nick, you have a stunning voice. Your tenor is so beautiful. And then you like landed that low note like that until, and it was so gorgeous. So I can't wait to hear you do more things. I think, feedback wise, I would love to see a little bit of a video that wasn't mom's cell phone camera. So let's get you a good tripod stand and a nice ring light and send you on your way, because it's gonna be awesome. We can sort of see a little bit more of your face and see what your storytelling is, because that was it's just hard to do in a cell phone video from a performance of a place that you got to sing live. Where are you, by the way? How'd you get to sing live anywhere? Where can I go to join you? And yeah, I think that one of the things I'd love to see, and this is I feel like I'm going to start, I'm literally back in season 1, just repeating myself, is I love to see a little bit of the joy. This is a joyful love song, right? You sound so stunning and your voice is impeccable. And now I want to see a little bit of that open-hearted, I'm literally screaming from the mountains how much I love this person. Let's see a little bit of how it feels good to love somebody.
Beautifully put. Courtney,
Stunning.
Oh my gosh, I'm right there with you, Kate, 1,000%. Nick, the only thing that is preventing you from booking this role is COVID, honey. Okay, like booked and blessed. All right, you are in it. You are in it. I am severely gagged. This was the best way to start season 2. Wow. I can't believe how young these kids are and how incredibly talented they are. The only thing, like I would say, like Kate said, is like we want to see from here up. We got to get it on a tripod, get it on a stationary moment, because mom wasn't ready.
Watching. Don't make mom be your camera person. Mom wants to watch.
Let her live in the moment. But other than that, boo, booked and blessed. I just see it in the future.
Jackie, for you.
I agree with the two queens, what they just said. I also you could also be a stylist because your outfit was on point, from your weird pants to the shoes to the just everything. I was like, full package. Agree with both of them about lighting and just so that we can see your gorgeous face. And also what Kate said about the joy, about what you're singing about, and let that inform your whole body. So you know what I mean? Be able to I think a lot of the times when we think we're singing, we forget that we're not just this head on a net, there's a whole body that we're working with. So don't be afraid to use your body and feel the way you feel when you have joy and love, and what that does to you, but it was your voice is insane.
It's funny. Last season, we had the same thing. A lot of our front runners and winners had a terrible video to look at first day, but had an incredible voice. So it's
yeah.
Talent shines through, right? It does. It eventually does.
So that's great. All right. Congratulations, Nick. Okay, next up is Brandon Large. Brandon is singing Try Me from She Loves Me. His Broadway role model is Cynthia Erivo. Judges, enjoy.
Good girl.
I have trained myself, going shelf by shelf, and I know every item in the store. Every tube, jar, box, bottle, carton, and container, where they are, what they cost, what they're for. Although it's something you have never thought about, Mr. Marichek, try me. You need a man who knows the business inside out, Mr. Marichek, try me. You need help, or I'd have never spoken. And why break someone in when I'm already broken? I would gladly grow a mustache if you'd like, Mr. Marichek, try me. Why, I would even think of giving up my bike, Mr. Marichek, try me. For first-class clerking and conscientious working, Mr. Marichek, why not try me?
Wow, number 2, Brandon. She Loves Me. I love that. Okay, ladies. Jackie, I'll start with you.
Oh my God, everybody's so flipping talented. It's oh my God, it's just an embarrassment of riches. I love this song. I think this song is so sweet and he sounds gorgeous on it. The thing I would say is that think about the moment right before, right? So what happened right before that propelled you into singing this song? And how long have you been thinking about talking to your boss about getting this promotion? Think about the joy in the beginning of it. You talk about, you're like, I know where everything is, create the world for yourself. You're in this store that you love so much. You know, everything that's on every single shelf, you know exactly what it does. You're an expert. Why break in someone else when you're already broken? You can use that as the joke of don't get a puppy when you know what I mean? You gotta house train that. I'm already house trained. Here I am, ready to go, So find the joy of you being the expert in your field and play to win to get this job that you dream and sleep about. But I thought you sounded gorgeous. It was so, so good.
Terrific. Courtney.
Brandon, this is a super solid performance. This is a solid tape, solid. However, I think, and I agree with Jackie 100%, in order to get the call back, we're giving you notes to fine tune it, right? So it's loosen up a little bit. It seemed like a little bit stiff, and it seemed a little bit like there were a lot of hand movements that necessarily didn't feel completely emotionally driven. And so for us, when we're watching it as an audience or on a, a tape, we see some of these hand motions and we forget to look here and what's happening here. Like, lead with all of the emotion that's happening, like everything that Jackie just said, and creating the environment. Lead with that, and then have the hand motions come along with the emotions, because we tend to feel like we're like distracted by a lot of these other things that are happening. But your voice is great. You have a great look. This is a great song for you. I just think we got to just amp it up a little bit more. But
Beautiful. Kate.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000% with these other ladies. I think you're so cute. Your voice is beautiful. I think you can forget about your voice a little bit. Like, you got this. And you are so just clearly a solid vocalist, and you can sort of be like, check, next box, right? And the next box is like literally what Jackie said. Like, don't forget you're selling yourself here, right? Like, your reason that you're doing this whole like song and dance, literally, is didn't mean that way, but I'm very funny. Is that like you're trying to market yourself for something, so you gotta like really be willing to sell the product, and the product is you selling the product. So go like a little more balls to the wall with it. Let us see you be a little goofy. This is not one of those songs where you have to be like handsome leading man doing leading man things. This is the song about this is a character act, right? Like, this is like a guy who's willing to kind of do whatever to get the things that he wants. So let's see that a little bit more of that, like kind of like what Courtney was saying, like loosen up and have a little more fun with it. And I think that's going to lighten you up so much from the inside. Your voice is beautiful and you're very handsome.
Fabulous. All right, moving on. Next, we have Taylor Rose Mickens. She is singing There Are Worse Things I Can Do from Grease. Her favorite role she played in the past was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Judges, enjoy.
I could stay home every night, wait around for Mr. Right, take cold showers every day, and throw my life away on a dream that won't come true. I could hurt someone like me out of spite or jealousy. I don't steal and I don't lie, but I can feel and I can cry, a fact I bet you never knew. But to cry in front of you, that's the worst thing I could do.
Jackie, I'll start with you.
With me? Oh, okay, wait. I didn't hear. You sounded gorgeous. You are beautiful. Such like great framing to see all of your emotions. I guess what I would say is sometimes it's really fun to play against the emotion, and just there's nothing more interesting than watching someone try not to cry rather than just letting that emotion overtake it. So like for us as an audience member, seeing you push down the emotion until you just can't anymore is really super fun for us as an audience member, and draws us in. Also, don't show me what you're feeling, feel what you're feeling, right? So rather than showing, like, look, this is how I brush my teeth, just brush your teeth, right? You know what I mean? So however you're feeling, it has to come from organically feeling that rather than you wanting to show us what a good actor you are or what what story you want to tell. So I implore you to do your homework of remembering who you're talking to, what happened right before, what is the purpose of why you're singing this song, and get really specific about how you feel about everything that you're talking about. Like, again, like when I ask if you like bananas, everybody has a different opinion, right? It's the same question. So it's your opinion, what you bring to the table, that makes it interesting and the performance interesting. So get really specific about what you feel and what you're thinking in this moment rather than showing us. And I think that would elevate it even more because you're already so talented.
Beautiful. Courtney, for you.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, you nailed it on the head. Like it's the performance is almost like kind of funny because we were talking, I'm, giving notes to Brandon saying like, I want you to feel it emotionally. And then we see this very emotional performance and you could see it in the eyes and it's there and it's happening. But with this specific song, right, she's saying the worst thing I could do is cry in front of you. And so it's almost like in an ideal world, if this was a movie, you would have that single tear at the end. It's like you've been suppressing it this whole time. And then maybe there's a single tear and maybe there's not. And you see it on the verge of that because you're suppressing it. In real life, that's what we do, right? We don't want to just cry in front of people willy-nilly. That's like it's such a vulnerable thing. So sometimes that's just, but you're going to get the call back because you're just ridiculously talented. But what's going to fine tune you is that not getting into the rut of like what you think the material is outwardly, kind of like what Jackie was saying. But wow, so solid, so talented.
Kate, for you.
Yeah, you're absolutely stunning. I agree with everything that's been said. I personally would zoom out the tiniest bit so that we get the top of your head. Just weird, again, like this weird world where all we do is self-tapes now. A personal preference where I would say like have that little bit of space up here just so that we actually get like you framed rather than like kind of losing you right here. Who cares? It's a fake world. These auditions are ridiculous these days, but that's a personal preference. And then I agree. And I think especially, I think being able to access emotion that like immediately is an incredible skill. And of course you want to show it off because like, you could like cut off a finger and I don't know that I can cry in front of people. Like, I just don't know that that's like a skill that I have. So you having it is like an incredible thing to be able to utilize. But now it's time for you to learn when to utilize it. And in this song, just like Courtney and Jackie were saying, in this song, the whole point is I will not give you that. I will not allow you to know that you got me here. That is the absolute worst thing I could do is let you know you won. So we want to watch her fight, even though the pain is kind of, hitting her in her heart. We want to watch her battle that so that she doesn't give those points to whoever it is you're speaking to. So that's kind of the thing about like having that ability to access those tears or that extreme emotion so rapidly is that now it's your turn as an actress to learn when it's a useful skill and when it's going to actually take away from what that character is fighting in the moment. But it's a beautiful tape, and I really commend you for being able to access that emotion like that because that's an incredible skill to use.
Beautiful points, all of you. Okay, moving on. Here is Cecilia Petrucci. She is singing Monster from Frozen. Her favorite role she's had in the past is, what's her name, in American Idiot. Enjoy.
Father, you know what's best for me. If I die, will they be free? Mother, what if after I'm gone, the cold gets colder and the storm rages on? No, I have to stay alive to fix what I've done, save the world from myself and bring back the sun. If I'm a monster, then it's true. There's only one thing that's left for me to do. But before I fade to white, I'll do all that I can to make things right. I cannot be a monster. I will not be a monster. Not tonight.
A mask too, a designer mask.
And a glitter mask.
She's like, I don't have the dress, but I can put all that stuff on my mask.
Fabulous. Kate, I'll start with you.
I mean, girl, your voice is incredible. That I know how hard that song is to sing, and you just like dropped that out like nothing. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of this, so I'm going to open this conversation up by saying it's really hard to perform with a mask on partly because jaw tension. Like I don't, you just did that, and I'm like, good for you. I can't do that. It would, my whole like right side of my jaw would just fall off. But second off, we lose all of your emotions, right? We lose everything when all you have is like this. We can't. We could hear you fine in the video, but I wish that we got to see your mouth, and I wish we got to see your whole face with expression. I understand that that's a really challenging thing right now, and I don't know what the right answer is. But me personally, I want to be able to invest in you as a whole storyteller and not just as a vocalist. And that means I need access to this, whatever that means. And for you, in terms of making sure you're being safe, you're taking care of the people around you, that when you are performing, maybe we just need to find an opportunity for you to be in a space where you can feel comfortable taking your mask off and performing for your next video. I'm sure there's going to be a next video. But I really miss having this, because then all I get is the incredible voice. And as we all know, like, an incredible voice is wonderful, but we have to be able to do the storytelling on top of that. So for me, let's try to find an opportunity next week to get you into a space where you can film comfortably and safely without a mask on.
Beautifully put. Courtney, for you.
Yes, 100% agree. This is just like going to be like the whole season. We're gonna be like 100% agree with you. Yeah, the math thing it's so tricky, and this is the first time that we're ever really having to deal with it, right? So we're figuring it out along with you. So it's not like we're not reprimanding you for this. We support you being safe. But if it's like, hey, I need to set the tripod up and I need to be in a room by myself and I need to press record and have it be the selfie version so I can see my framing, then let it be that, because I think that's going to be better than having to cover this up. I cannot believe you sang that song with a mask on. And also, like, wow, your voice is phenomenal. I'm floored. Unbelievable. It's a beautiful gift that you have. I want to say literally your performance was basically perfect. I wonder, can you do straight tone into vibrato? Would that be the most nitpicky thing ever? I could never sing this song. I just can't never do it. So I am like trying to give you notes on something that I can't even do myself. But like, tonight, I don't even know the song. Tonight, vibrato. And that would be the most ideal situation. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Jack?
I think that's the biggest lie ever, you say you couldn't sing the song. So on that. But yeah, why not have a little straight tone into the Broadway magic vibrato that everybody likes? So amazing. I just read in the chat that she said, I filmed this in University of Michigan building. Due to COVID guidelines, I'm required to wear a mask at all times while inside. So I totally get it. And I think that we all totally understand that. And I think what Kate and Courtney was saying is that if you have to maybe like be in your dorm room, if you have a dorm, like if you have your own dorm room and you can be by yourself, and that's okay in your own space, or even in a magical bathroom, like in your bathroom,
you're like outside if you can.
Yeah. Or outside. Yeah. Whatever, so just because it's just, I applaud what you're doing, and thank you for following the rules, because you are making the world a safer place, and I appreciate it so much. I just feel like we couldn't get the full amazingness of your performance, because it is kind of important. I mean, yes, the eyes are the window to the soul, but like the rest of your face, and we couldn't, like fully
the rest of your soul. The whole front of the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the rest of you, I can't believe she sang so beautifully through that mask. I can barely breathe through the mask, let alone talk.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And it's challenging. She really just highlighted perfectly like why this was such a difficult time for performers, because it is really, really important to stay safe and follow the rules and protect the people around you. But our job as storytellers is to be completely available, and that is really challenging right now.
Well, I give her a 10 for singing through that mask. Totally. Okay, moving on. Next up is Ontario Williams. He is singing Stars from Les Miserables. His dream role would be Cole House in Ragtime. Judges, enjoy Ontario.
So it is written on the doorway to paradise, the dust of water in those who fall must pay the price. Let me find him, that I may see him. safe behind bars. I will never rest till then. This I swear by the stars.
Oh my gosh, Ontario, Stars Sommelier Niz.
Yeah, beautiful.
Kate, I'll start with you.
Ontario, your voice is stunning. It's so fun because I feel like so often we at this point in our sort of like Broadway history, we tend so much towards a tenor, and hearing a true baritone live in a true baritone place is so satisfying because the richness of your tone and like the breadth of it is just like swimming in like butter. It's so wonderful. Oh, I love it so much. Really, really lovely. I think there's gonna be no problem with you playing Coal House, because who doesn't want to hear you sing that? I definitely do. So I think that's gonna happen for you. I would love a video that we could crop a little bit so that we can get you. I love seeing your pianist though. Lovely, like shout out to the pianists out there. Getting like her moment on Broadway World. But let's this next time see if we can crop the video a little bit just so we can get a little bit more of your face and, you know, get to see a little bit more of your sort of emotional connectivity. I think that will take you a long way. These self-tapes are tricky. It's not the same thing as performing in a room, you know, with people where they can sort of watch you in real time. So that's what I would say at this point. Let's start there.
Beautiful. Courtney, for you.
Agree, all across the board. Beautiful, stunning voice. I think, yes, as a rule of thumb for everyone, vertical is for Instagram, horizontal is for self-tapes, and everything else, because we want to be able to see it like a picture, right? That's what it looks like. When you watch a movie, it's just moving pictures. So when you see the vertical, we're like, I can't see. And then if you're that far away, then we can't see your face. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, all of these people, no wonder you guys are the top 15. Because even doesn't matter what you're shooting on, or, you know, if it's shaky or whatever, like your talent is shining through. We're just giving you notes so that it's like you make it to the final callbacks. So good.
Jackie, for you.
Yeah, I agree with both of the two gorgeous ladies over there. And the other thing I would say is, and the final note of anything, just remember to follow through until the end, and not just like, oh, good, I hit it, and then like kind of hold on to it. There has to be forward movement of that energy of what you're singing about. How do you feel about the stars? If that like it's a huge pinnacle, you know, this note, right, written. Why? What do the stars mean to you? And that's completely personal. You know, it doesn't have to, it's going to mean something different to everybody else, right? Like what's going to mean to me is not going to be what Kate thinks or Courtney thinks or Richard thinks, right? So that's what makes it so exciting for us, is hearing these songs, different takes from every single actor, because every single actor, it means something different. The words mean something different. So get really specific about what those words mean to you, what the stars mean to you, why you're singing about the stars, why you're, you know, and that will make your performance elevate even more, because your voice is like amazing. But yeah, that's it.
That's great. What a start with this group, right?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Just incredible. Okay, so up next is Malachi Cummings singing I Believe from the Book of Mormon. His dream role would be Jack Kelly in Newsies. Judges, enjoy.
It's supposed to be all so exciting, to be teaching of Christ across the sea. But I allowed my faith to be shaken. Oh, what's the matter with me? I've always longed to help the needy, to do the things I never dared. This was the time for me to step up. So then why was I so scared? A warlord that shoots people in the face. What's so scary about that? I must trust that my Lord is mightier and always has my back. Now I must be completely devout. I can't have even one shred of doubt. I believe that the Lord God created the universe. I believe that He sent His only Son to die for my sins. And I believe that ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America. I am a Mormon, and a Mormon just believes.
That's incredible. I love these classrooms.
I know.
Right? Just incredible. The sound in there. That was terrific. Okay, judges. Jackie, I'll start with you. Malachi.
Start with Kate. She's a comedic genius. So like, I actually want to hear what she has to say. I have my own thoughts, but I have a feeling she'll like put it more succinctly.
I don't do anything succinctly. You'll find out the more we do this.
I feel like I do. I'm like, "Ugh."
You want me to go? Really? You want me to talk?
Kate, you go first. Then. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Malachi, you're adorable. You sound beautiful. I have two things I want you to think about. I want you to think about making sure that at no point ever in any moment of this, particularly with comedy, that you ever close your eyes. When you close your eyes, even for a second, you cut us out and we separate as an audience from you actually saying what you're saying to, oh, right, I'm watching somebody, which takes all of that, like separates us from what's funny, right? What's funny is that we believe that this is actually happening to you. And when you close your eyes and go to that vocal place, even though it feels honest because you're like, I'm checking in with myself, you're separating us from that moment. And then we don't go on that ride with you. So we can't think about how ridiculous what you're about to say is, because that's the joke of this song, is that everything you're about to say is ridiculous. Sorry, Mormons. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be offensive. That's the point of the show. How about that? And then two, I think especially in this material, I think you're allowed a little bit of a wink and a nod, right? Because this is the kind of comedy where, like I just said, like we're kind of aiming for an extreme of a personality. And so I think you can have that little bit of like, I realize that what I'm saying is not what most people would say. And that's okay, but I still believe it. Like there's a little bit of that awareness of the comedian, of the actor that's there, that just gives the audience permission to giggle at what you're saying, as opposed to going, do you really believe that? Because I'm worried, right? Like I don't want to worry. I want to know, that like all of us are in on this joke together. And that's a tricky balance because you don't want to comment on it. You want to still be as honest and as genuine as possible. But like, you can also alert us with this teeny tiny little like bling in your eye that lets me know that you know what you're doing. See, that wasn't succinct at all.
No, I was like, I didn't know how to put into words that like of what you said of like letting the audience in on the joke, but also wholeheartedly believing what, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I was like, I don't know how to say this with that. And it was very much more succinct than how I was.
Do you want to add anything, Jackie?
No, that was exactly what I was watching and being like, I just like that. Yeah, because he sounds beautiful. Yeah. And he's got a great voice. It's just that was that little part that was missing. And I agree with you about the closing eyes. There's nothing that drives me more crazy is like when you're like, oh no, because yeah, as us as artists, the same thing I realized from self-taping, blinking. If there's too much blinking happening, it's like, oh God, like I'll watch tapes myself. I'm like, why am I blinking so much? Because it takes us out. And now I'm just watching a girl blinking rather than, it's just so interesting how much that changes for the audience members' journey with us. It's very interesting. So yes,
it's like a disconnect.
Yeah, it's immediately like, oh, it's like a skip and a tape.
Yeah. Got it. Courtney.
Yeah, exactly what these queens are saying. It's almost like Malachi, you have really good instincts.
Yeah.
You have natural instincts. I think with comedy, it's like a lot of times you can't teach it, right? It's sort of like you either have it, you have good instincts, or you don't. Or, you can, so you have it. But what Kate and Jackie are saying is that you just need to fine tune it a little bit, sort of like raise the notch a couple, a little bit this way and a little bit that way, but the vocals are there, your look is there. There was a couple moments where I found myself just going like, so you're doing it right. We just need to perfect it. But
it's just fine tuning, like you said. It's such a teeny tiny little difference.
Yeah.
But that's what's great about everything, all the feedback you're giving. It's all about fine tuning. That's really all it is. It's like it makes so much sense. You watch some of these kids and you think they're perfect and you're like, oh, but if they just make these little minor adjustments, it'll make them even better.
Right. And that's what's going to set you above the rest.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you guys are already like so far ahead of it just because you're doing this. Right. And so like, you're on the right path. We're just trying to guide you.
Yeah, and then
about
high stakes, like like you know what I mean. Like what makes such a brilliant comic, performances is like the high stakes and what can be a very mundane, you know, like everyday thing, but the stakes are really high and that's what makes the comedy high. So like, I think when Courtney said is like the notch turning up, it's like raising those stakes, like what are, you know, like so that there is somewhere to go rather than it being too casual, you know?
It'll be very exciting to watch this whole group next week take
Yeah.
all you told them and move into the next level. Really exciting. Okay, so singing Dreamer in Disguise from Carrie, here is Joe Rusi. His favorite role has been in the past was Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Show. Enjoy.
And though the clouds may block the sun, don't know that it's left the sky. Just when you think you've seen it all, there's more than meets the eye. Like things I dream and things I feel, there's more to me than I reveal. And though I shine in quiet ways, I'm someone you don't recognize. I am a diamond in the rough, a dreamer in disguise.
Oh my gosh, that was terrific. Joe is great.
Yeah.
Kate, I'll start with you.
Yeah, you have a beautiful voice, Joe. It's stunning. I don't know this. I might be the only person who doesn't know Carrie very well. I was like, maybe I'm the only guy. So I don't know a lot about this character, and because our video was a little bit farther back than I would prefer, I'm hesitant to comment too much on the acting because I just don't think I got enough of you to like get to see a lot of that. So if we can get, again, I know we're gonna sound like broken records a little bit in the beginning, but if we can get a little bit more of like a ding ding box around you for the next video, that way I feel like I can like invest a little bit more in your version of the song, even if I don't know it, but I don't know this one. So I have no opinion about that. But you sound stunning. I also would give you this to sort of like chew on a little bit. What happens if you root yourself into the ground a little bit more? Because especially since you gave us a full body video so I could see you traveling, I think one of the trickiest things to learn is that the confidence of being able to sort of root and stay and be still. We use our bodies to express ourselves. That does not mean that we have to move. That you can actually use your body to express yourself without moving a single muscle. And this particular song, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't need a lot of like relocation or travel. And what that does is it sort of makes us think you have a little bit of your own adrenaline that's kind of seeping out through your feet, rather than channeling that energy up and out through the primary storyteller, which is like voice, heart, face. So see what that feels like. See what happens if you can root yourself a little bit more. Next week, you're going to come in with a song that's like all about dancing, and it's going to throw everything I just said out the window. So that's good. But like, if you come in next week with the similar kind of like we call them park and barks. If you like really let that park and bark be a park and bark, you can just stand and tell me the story, and you are interesting enough like that. I don't need you to do anything else.
Beautifully put. Courtney.
Yes, you are. I was literally about to be like, you are enough. And you were like, you are interesting enough. You are enough. And I think as actors, we're constantly having to prove ourselves. We're like, look at me, look at me, look at me, showy, showy, showy. But if you stay rooted and you let everything that your movement is coming from here, if you have this feeling that you have to, it's because your heart is beating so fast or so hard that you have to catch it, but don't let it be a choreographed thing. The moment that we start to feel like it's planned and choreographed, or you feel awkward because you don't know what to do with your hands, it's okay. Like, you're enough to stay rooted and let the emotions drive you. And it's kind of just a common theme and like a general note for everyone. And we all fall victim to this. We all do, because sometimes we stand there and then we're like, is this enough? What we're gonna do is we're gonna zone in on you, and we're gonna move closer to you and in the video to see what you're gonna do next. It's like the perfect example would be Jonathan Groff in Hamilton. It's like we've on Disney Plus now. It's like he barely moves, and you're like, oh my god, it's brilliant, you know. And that's what we want to see. And all the, like Kate said, all the performances and the songs, it's all different based on the scenario of the song and what you're trying to get, obviously. But like your voice is unbelievable. Like the nuance of the control of your voice is like insane. And it just makes me feel really depressed because we're never gonna work again. All of these generational people are gonna like just bulldoze us over and be with all of your talent and your incredible gifts that you have. So like we're just trying to help. We're not being like, oh, you suck. You're amazing.
Jackie, for you.
No, what Kate and Courtney say, I think is, if anything, if all of you guys can take this, what they just said is like, I think the biggest drop of knowledge gold that you can have as an actor is that you are enough, that you don't have to put anything else on it, and I think, again, like we say, like as actors, we have to be like, no, but I can do this, this, and this. And you want to bring the audience to you. You don't want to be like so much that their audience is like, okay, I'm good. That's, and let me sit back. It's like, you want the audience to come forward. Yeah. And if you truly believe that you're enough, and it's so hard because all of us actors are insecure and obviously haven't gotten enough love. And that's why we need our so it's such a hard thing. And another performance that like got me, like, just like Jonathan's, I thought Jonathan was actually like a puppet. Like I thought, I was like, oh my God, because he was so perfect that I was like, is there like a manipulation? Anyways, but Cynthia Erivo's performance at the Oscars, where she just stood and sang, she didn't move the entire time and just let the whole audience come to her, was a masterclass of being, I'm enough, I'm here, I'm enough, and I'm just going to deliver this song, and you are all going to come to me. It was literally a masterclass of showing we are enough just being. Yeah. So I hope you guys all hear what those two women said, because it couldn't be more true. And I think that's probably why those two women are so successful, is because they have figured that out, right? And so learn it now when you're young.
I know.
You all pinpointed that, especially for the kids who are starting out. Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? It's like everyone, and like you said, even at your level, you're thinking, am I giving enough? Am I giving too much when I'm putting these songs together? That's got to be probably the hardest thing, right? As a performer,
there's not a right answer. There's no way of there's no such thing as too much or not enough. And every single person's like mark on the barometer scale is different.
Yeah.
And different with every song. Like every song requires something different. So it's really challenging. You just got to kind of trust your gut.
But they're all so good. Looking at this group already, my gosh.
Also, the gentlemen this year. Like,
no.
We're at number 8, and it's like we are like repping the male gender right now.
Yeah.
Fabulous. All right. Singing God Help.
You know me watching this right now. I'm like,
oh, I love it. She's writing down. Okay, here we go.
She's
got her eye. They all do. She's panting with the dolls back there or whatever.
She's panting with the dolls.
The creepy dolls are sweating too. They're over there doing the same thing. They're hyperventilating.
Oh, dolls.
We're all bringing dolls next week. Singing God Help the Outcast from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here is Haley Ferre. Her Broadway role model is Ariana DeBose. Enjoy.
They asked for God and his angels to bless them. I ask for nothing, I can get by, but I know so many less lucky than I. Please help my people, the poor and downtrodden. I thought we all were the children of God. God, help the outcasts, children of God. Children of God.
Another incredible voice.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, her name is actually Haley Ferrier. So I just wanted to correct that. What a stunning voice. Kate, I'll start with you. Thoughts?
You know, it's so funny that you have a strong connection to Ari because you look like her. You look and sound like young Ari. I met Ari when she was 19. And so probably about the age that you are now, Haley. And it's like the camera switched on and I was like, oh, wow. Like there's, I can see why that looks like a good path for you. Beautifully done. Really, really connected, which I love. I know I'm like so contradictory in this, but I'm going to say again, like, I think you can take one step back from the camera, or the camera can take one step back from you, because I think there was a wall behind you. Again, just to give us that tiny little frame around you. It's so dumb because I'm like, too far away, too close, too far away, too close. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But I think that just gives us, again, just that little bit of distance so that we can really see, as opposed to being like, I think I can see her tonsil. Which is one point I literally was like, I think I can see her tonsils. They look very healthy, by the way. This is beautiful. The number's beautiful. Beware the ending of this number, because that musical interlude is a little bit of death. It's just the way the number is structured. Don't leave us, right? Don't go away and then like finish the line out. Stay with us the whole time so that we can stay with you. We know what you're seeing, right? If what you're seeing is your people, if what you're seeing is the church, you get to make all these choices. You have no set. But keep with us so that we know what you're watching and we know what it is that you're connecting to in that moment. It's challenging. You can totally handle it.
Beautiful. Courtney.
This song, okay, beautiful, stunning. Yes, everything Kate said. The trick with this song is she's pleading, but she's not angry. So you can't play it, or you shouldn't play it angry. And I think for the most part, with songs like this, or mostly in general songs, you don't want to play like the anger. That's very like sort of off-putting. I don't think that you did a lot. It's like the attitude. Sometimes when there's like a little bit of attitude and a little bit of anger, it can be off-putting. And with this song, she's pleading. She's like, I've asked for nothing. Just please, just give me. I'm looking for my people. Her heart is in the right place, right? She's just wanting, this is her last right. It's like, please, just give. That's all I'm asking for. So have it be more of like a longing and a pleading rather than like, I have asked for nothing. Why haven't you given this to me? Which this is not what you did, but that's kind of like the rut of this song. And oh my gosh, I wanted you to take a breath after Children of Breath. God, right? Oh my gosh, Jackie, were you thinking that too?
Yes, I was like,
God, because you have a beautiful sound. So
Yeah.
Let that crescendo and come back. And then like Kate said, fill that moment with seeing the people or seeing God or whatever it is. And then have that when you say something twice, children of God, it's like you're re-emphasizing it, right? And it means something, because why would you say something twice, right? It's like, unless it actually means something. So take that breath, children of God, right? And then create the atmosphere, see it, children of God. And that's the rooted moment at the end. But this is us just being so nitpicky. It was a beautiful performance.
Gorgeous. Jackie.
yeah, I agree with everything that they just said. Your tone is so effortless and so beautiful. You have such a great facility of how to go from your belt into your mix effortlessly, and it's you put the audience at ease that like, oh, I know she's going to hit all the notes, which is such a great gift because you don't always sit in a theater and go, oh yeah, she's going to hit all the notes. Sometimes you're worried for the performer, and you have one of those voices that we're as an audience member just gonna be like, oh, this is going to be great. I can sit back and relax, and I know that she's got me, So like, awesome job. I agree with everything that they said. I don't think I could add anything else. They're exactly right.
You mentioned crystal clear voices. Everybody in this competition so far had these gorgeous voices, right?
Stunning.
Stuns.
Okay, up next, singing Gethsemane from Jesus Christ Superstar, Janelle Katharina. Her favorite past role was Extraordinary Girl in American Idiot. Enjoy.
What the things I've said and done matter anymore. I have to know my Lord. Have to know my Lord. Have to see, I'd have to see my Lord. Have to see, I'd have to see my Lord. If I die
my gosh, rocking it out. Let's hear Kate.
I don't know that I've ever heard a woman do that. Which like that's hard. That was amazing to hear. I like really love that. Also, like maybe gonna try that someday because that was really awesome. Jackie, you should be doing that. Actually, that's what I want to hear.
Oh, yes.
But that was amazing. You sound amazing. Here's like one of those like this show, in my opinion, is like so challenging because we wrote a rock score that is about the Bible that has to be really connected. So like there's a lot to take on as an actor. You have to be able to do what you just did vocally, which is insane. So check. And then we have to get to this place where you have to like mean it in a way that is beyond vocal pyrotechnics. And that's hard. This song is, there's a reason that this song is like, you hear the name and you're like, okay, let's see what we do. Because it's really challenging to create that kind of vocal work and still be able to understand you are desperate to make sure that what you're about to do is not going to ruin your life, ruin your afterlife. Like, it's a really ethereal concept, right? Like that's the thing about like any sort of like biblical musical is you're like, these are big ideas and they're written to be parables. They're not written to be like literal translations of like how my feelings felt in this moment. So it's asking a lot. I think all I can say is like, if you're going to do it and like, please do, like, go for it, girl. Don't feel penned in by that camera and do not feel like these arms are all you have. You got to use your whole self, which you're already using to create that sound. I know how hard that stuff is to scream. So like you're already utilizing all that body. So let's just let it be a part of the performance and remember that this is the thing that's asking the questions, right? Like this is you're literally begging God to give you answers about whether or not your soul's going to be okay. Like that comes from here. So use it and don't feel like these are the only options because that's kind of what rock singers do. And so like, sure, rock arms, but like, give me more than the rock arms, you know? Rock arms, that's the thing, right? Like
Yeah.
Rock Courtney,
Totally.
rock arms.
Rock arms. Add it to the vocab for this season. Rock arms.
Rock arms.
I totally agree. It's funny because people watching are going to be like, "Oh, well, what do you guys want? Like, no arms, you know?" But it's so different depending on the song, right? It's just so different. It's like, yeah, but it always has to lead from here. But as far as like the performance as a whole, like I loved the look. We went for it. She just was like, I am gonna go for this and I'm gonna go strong and hard on whatever this is and rock arms, okay? Yeah, I loved it. It's so great.
Fabulous. Jackie.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it because you have such a strong musical point of view, and that is huge, and you have such a strong sense of self, and that is also huge. And so like I applaud you, and I loved that performance so much. And I thought towards the end, like middle and end of the performance, it got stronger. And all I'm going to say is the same thing about like Kate was saying, is that really ask the questions. In the beginning, I felt like you were holding back and you weren't really asking the questions. What is the moment that happened right before that propelled you into singing this song? And why this is huge. What's laying on your heart is huge. These questions are massive. So allow yourself to ask those questions, allow yourself to go on that journey as hard as it is, and forget about your voice. Cause like you can obviously sing the poop out of it. So like now let's like invest into like really asking those questions. You don't know the answers to these questions and you need to know, you have to know. So like allow yourself to be propelled into that. And then the performance will be even more like spectacular than it already was.
Also, like, what a cool gender bend.
Oh.
Yes, coolest option. Like, what an amazing idea. And who's going to do that on stage next? Because cool.
Strong choice.
Epic. Yeah.
Because I loved it. The minute her video started, it was like putting a needle on a record. She was there.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
And it was, I think all of us, if you had the cameras on, what we were talking about in the other performances, I think probably all of us were like, whoa. And we went to her, you know what I mean? Because it just was so captivating.
Yeah, it's like we talk about like making a choice, right? That was a strong choice. You could think the casting director or the producers can always say, "Hey, let's do this a little bit differently the next time around." But like, hey, she came in with a choice.
Yeah.
So
let's have the battle.
Well, I love that what you all said about it. It's making a choice. It's making a strong choice that you stay with through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you always said casting directors and directors are looking for, someone who'll make a choice and then adapt to something else when they fine tune it or whatever. Yeah, really great. Okay, next up is Caleb Mathura singing It Hurts Me from All Shook Up. His dream roles are Angel in Rent or Evan Hansen. Enjoy, Caleb.
You're too blind to see he's only playing a game. He never loved you, he never will. And darling, don't you know he'll never change? Whoa, I know that he never will set you free, because he's just that kind of guy. But if you ever tell him you're through, I'll be waiting for you, waiting to hold you so tight, just waiting to kiss you goodnight. Yes, waiting to find someone like you.
Fabulous. Caleb sings Elvis. That was terrific. Kate.
Oh, I love you. Oh, you're so cute. I know. It's just, guys, it's fine. We all have, that's who we are. This is just who I am. You sound beautiful. Your voice is beautiful. This is fun. Like, it's a fun number. And I never saw the show. Like, obviously I know a lot of the music, but like, I never saw it. So I was watching this going like, is it too stylized? Is it not? And I don't think it was. I think it was like the right amount of stylized for a musical that's in the style of Elvis. Like, it was great. I think like the things that I sort of would send to you is like, make sure that those like sort of stylized pieces, this is a little bit like the comedy we were talking about before with Book of Mormon, make sure that it's stylized in a way that says, I know I'm doing this, right? Like, we all know what Elvis is. We all get it. Like, we get the like, you, and the like flips and stuff. Like, there's a little bit of a wink and a nod that comes with that, right? And that's just that awareness of like, yes, I'm fully committed to this. Yes, it means everything. It comes from my heart, but also I understand that it is a style. It's just, I guess that's just maybe my personal preference, but I say just like allow it to be what it is, buy into it 100%, but also be allowed to identify that it is a thing, right? Like, you wouldn't do that for like a Rodgers and Hammerstein song, right? We're doing that because it's this particular piece, and that's great. And we like that, and we buy into that. And anyone who's going to see All Shook Up wants that. So let it be that, and that's okay. But you don't have to like let it, I don't know, overtake you also as the artist. You're allowed to know that it's happening. That really didn't make any sense, but I think maybe I said what I wanted to say. And I love the little like falsetto flip is like, oh, okay. I had a little vocal reaction. It was nice. That's all. I'm done now.
Courtney, for you.
I'm just fanning Kate right now. Really solid performance. I mean, my technical things would be, we dealt with this in last season too. It's the halo light and the glasses.
No.
That's always a trick bag. I don't know how we can figure that out. And for the most part, this is a note for everybody. There's a lot of headroom there. So like, it's a matter of shifting and tilting and making sure that it's not, your performance isn't like this, you know what I mean? You got to get it like right in the middle.
It's hard.
So you say somebody's taking a picture of you, they're going to frame it, not like, this. I don't know why I like moved down as if I couldn't do that with my
It was better.
Hello, creepy dolls. But so anyway, so that's it really. Otherwise, strong work.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, oh, why so much room up here? I don't care about up here. I only care about here. And then the other thing I would say is, remember that what you're singing about. You're singing about that you're going to be there for this person. And so I want you to put, rather than all the love, I don't want you to be more in love with yourself and what you're doing than who you're singing to and what that person does to you and the fire that person lights in you, that you are like, I will be here. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think my biggest thing is watching it, as even though I had such a good time, was watching you have a really good time, which was super great because that makes me have a good time. But I want to see it as you putting it on that other person. That's why you're singing the song. It's about them and showing them that you will be there. And so don't forget about that. Don't let it just become about you having a great time and forgetting about the whole reason of why you're singing the song. But other than that, it was so good.
I wanted to see more eyes on him, and maybe because it was too far away, and maybe it was my glasses, because I knew he was connecting. I just wanted to see more of that, because I guarantee you he's got beautiful eyes behind those glasses. And like you said, if he just brings that in where it's like where I am or where you ladies are, it's like we'll see more of that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was great. Wow. Smooth as silk again, going through that 50s style, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Up next, here is Matthew Millen singing Wondering from the Bridges of Madison County. His favorite role in the past was Boy in Peter and the Starcatcher. Here is Matthew. Enjoy.
A little twinge, a little shock, a little whisper at the bottom of your memory. A sudden wind, a gentle knock, and then a rustle in the leaves. You hold your breath, you check the lock, you reassure yourself there's nothing at the window. But you're wondering, you're wondering what that was. Nothing is gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. You turn a key, you flip a switch, you settle back into the blissful unfamiliar. You close your eyes, but there's an itch, a little hurt your heart retrieves. But you ignore the tiny twitch, pretend the feeling will be gone before the morning. But you're wondering, you're wondering where you are.
Fabulous.
Hey!
What a gorgeous, smooth voice. Kate.
Yeah, Matthew, your voice is beautiful. This is such hard music, and you have such like a breadth of tone and a beautiful line that's going through all of this. It's so well sung. I think that my thing, and also like nicely done on your tape, like nice, like lovely frame, nice, good crop, excellent lighting, very nicely done. I can't believe that that's like a thing that we have to talk about. It's so silly. I would say that this song in particular, like, this is a push and pull, right? Like, it's like you're telling yourself you're going to be fine, but this is what you're really feeling. And then you're telling yourself that you're going to be fine, but this is what you're really feeling. You can invest a little bit more, I think, in the back and forth, this sort of like, that feeling of like, it's comforting yourself and then like being honest about what's actually happening. I think that we can see a little bit more of that kind of internal battle. Always in these songs where it's like, I am and I'm not, or I am and I will, or whatever. We like to see the differentiation between the two versions of self, right? So the more you can sort of lay into that and feel comfortable in that, the stronger it's going to be.
Beautiful. Courtney.
I wish I knew this show. I wish I could give better feedback. I don't know the show very well. I think the performance as a whole was very strong. And like Kate said, the framing, all of that was really great. The takeaway for me is that your voice is so easy to listen to. Mm-hmm. It is just like butter. It is just, like Jackie was saying earlier, you don't worry about where your voice is going to go. We don't worry if we're going to hit it. We're not worried we're going to get sick of it. Like, I could listen to it, like you create an album. It's beautiful, it's stunning. But yeah, I do agree with what Kate said. Jackie, what do you think?
I felt the exact same way that Kate was saying, is that I want it's that thing, that constant push and pull of being like, no, yeah, I'm fine, but underneath you're not okay, right? And it's so technically, was this a great performance? Absolutely, but I could see the technical rather than you just letting go and living it, right? So figure out what those circumstances are. Why, what story in your life are you left to battle all the time, and make it personal for you? What are you wondering about? What is something that plagues you and keeps you up at night, even though that, that you can't quite figure out? You have to heighten those stakes and play against the music. These kind of songs are so hard. I used to have the hardest time in singing I'm Not That Girl, because it's beautiful and easy and fun to sing. But if you sit back and sing like that, then you're not telling the story. The story is, it's palpable, right? This is a palpable, you're wondering, it's palpable. You can't say wondering without having energy, because if you're not wondering, then you are complacent, right? But this person isn't complacent, but the music can lull you into that kind of beautifulness, and then it's just a beautiful song and we miss the story of it. So I would just say ratchet up, get specific, and allow yourself to go on that journey of whatever that journey is for you.
Yeah. Didn't he remind you a little bit about Derek Klena?
Oh yeah,
Tony nominee, Derek Klena.
We have to give a big shout out to our guest judge here, who'll be back at some point during season 2, to Derek Klena.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know now that he's Tony nominated.
I was going to say Tony nominated Derek Klena. Maybe he's too big for us now.
No, he wants to come back, but he's like, we just want to give a big shout out to our guest judge. But he reminded me very much, because when his boy Matthew sang from Bridges, I mean, because Derek was in, and I thought, what beautiful, just really, really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on. Up next singing There's Always Me from All Shook Up, but never saw from All Shook Up. Here is Janelle Odom. Her favorite role in the past was Danielle in Bring It On.
Ooh.
Great Danielle.
Within my arms you come to know other loves may come and go, but my love for you will be eternally. Look around and you will see there is always look around and you will see there's always me.
Wow.
Another gorgeous performance, Janelle. Jackie, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay. I'm going to say something that is annoying, again, like self-tape, like we all talk about. If your background is white, don't wear a white shirt. You know what I mean? So like if the background's blue, don't wear a blue shirt. It's just because it doesn't, you won't pop as much. And you're so stunningly beautiful. Like, oh my God, your face is made for a camera. I came on and I was like, whoa. So just like, don't do yourself the disservice and like whatever, just always pick a different color, right? Background with what you're wearing, to differentiate. And then, the other thing that I implore you to do that you started to do in the middle of the song is that when we're talking to somebody, we don't always have to have direct eye contact the whole time. When you're thinking about something, there was a really poignant moment where you like looked down for a second and then went back that I was like, oh, it was so gorgeous. And the fact that you allowed yourself to think in real time, right? Rather than know the next word you're singing, know the next line that you're singing. So I say to all performers, don't think that to be a good actor means you have to give the other actor your eyeballs the whole time, or then you're not being a good scene partner. That's not true, right? So be a human being. Think about things. Find. You don't know what's coming next, and use the W at the end of that last always will help. If you just like pop the W, will help your diction and it will help your tone a little bit. Even though you sound absolutely gorgeous, it'll just help a little bit. And the other thing with riffing at the end on the me, it has to come. Every riff has to come from a storytelling place, or that it's just a beautiful girl with a beautiful voice, and which is also awesome. But there has to be motivation behind it. So just figure out what your motivation behind doing those turns is for you, storytelling wise. Beautiful. Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Jackie. The beauty of all of this is that you guys are already so top notch that we're having to literally be like, wear a different colored shirt. Like, we can find, you know what I mean? So I to know, also, Janelle, who's your dentist? Because teeth were right.
Perfect.
I was like, do I have good teeth? I don't know. Like, I was just like this stunning woman. I mean, you're so radiant. I couldn't even like pay attention to like what you were singing in the first like 2 bars because I was like, oh, she's literally glowing. What's happening? You're stunning. Like, you're gonna work. We're just being like, hey, do this, and then you're gonna get really, really far. But I have literally nothing else to add. Jackie,
Except who's your dentist? I love it. Kate.
Yeah, I actually agree with Courtney. I think it took me several bars to like process what you were singing because I was like literally bowled over by just how stunning you are on camera. Like everything about your look, like the lipstick, the everything. I was just like, we're working right now. I forgot. I'm paying attention to the song. I think that the thing that I want to say is like I'm so. You say your favorite role that you've done is Danielle, and I'm like, I want to see that. This song is lovely, and you sound beautiful. And I'm like so with the thing that Jackie said, which is like when you riff, like make sure that it has emotional connection, which is tricky in this style of music that sort of like requires it because it's 50s, but whatever, you're an actor. So like, cool, put that on top of the style. But I'm like, I can't wait to see what else you do. Something that like is like more complicated because I was so intrigued by your performance of this like relatively simplistic song that I cannot wait to see what you do with something that's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah. Singing a mashup of First Time in Forever from Frozen and Beyond My Wildest Dreams from A Little Mermaid, here is Talia Cutuli. One of her dream roles would be Anne Boleyn in Six. Judges, enjoy.
Totally crazy to dream I'd find romance, but for the first time in forever, at least I've got a chance. Look, it's him, so handsome and refined and slim, sweet, sincere, magnificent from head to toe, and oh, I'd hoped and wished my life would feel enchanted, wished and prayed the fates would hear my pleas, prayed, and wow, my prayers are more than granted. Look at them all, hall after hall, perfect as you could please here, marvels galore, and even more. Gee, did I mention he's here? And if who knows, all of it goes past even these extremes. Just look at me, and you will see someone beyond her wildest dreams.
Oh my gosh, what a great mashup. Kate, I'll start with you.
Oh, Talia, you're so cute. That was so sweet. What I love too is that there was like just sincere joy in there that wasn't like, this is what Disney princesses look like. It was like, no, like a human being, like actually experiencing joy, which I love so much because so often I think with Disney, we get caught up in the fact that it's Disney and we don't really invest in the fact that these are people or mermaids that have like actual feelings, right? And that's the whole point. So kudos to that because it was so stunning and so sweet. I think that the trick with a mashup, and this so that we may all feel differently about this, which is yay. The thing about mashups is that like, unless they line up into one story, right? Like one consistent story, which I think this could, but I think right now it was like, there's this story here and then there's this story here happening. That's so awesome for like a cabaret or like a concert setting. It's challenging for an audition setting, which is I think kind of how we're approaching these videos is more from like the audition perspective. And so I would say if you want to do a mashup, which I'm like, go ahead, do it. That's awesome. Make sure that the story you're telling is consistent throughout and that you're not telling two separate versions of the same story or this side of the story and then this side of the story. You want to make sure it's one story, like one narrative in that 32 bar cut or however much this ends up being. Because that's what they're going to need to see in an audition is how you tell one consistent storyline. And I think mashups, that's challenging because obviously they're two different songs, meant to be two different things. So if you can do it, like kudos, go for it. But I just say like keep an eye on that because it's technically very challenging.
Now on to our Disney princess, Courtney Reed.
Richie, you're the best. I'm like, you're the best. They're just like the typical Disney pose. No, I totally agree with Kate. It's like you're making her human. And actually what I kind of love too about Disney in general is that like all of these current age princesses, they have like, they're so whole, and not like they weren't before, but they're like even more whole. So like, I love the way that you did that. I do agree with Kate. It's like, the best songs are really the songs that tell a story, that you as an actor can tell the story. And if you only have, like we would consider this an audition cut, even though we didn't get to see your whole song. If you only have one opportunity to show us what you've got, have it tell a story and something that you obviously connect to. But I thought you were so cute and so charming and so adorable and like committed and really good instincts. And like, we've been talking throughout this season about raising the stakes and like bringing energy. And that's like exactly what you did. So like, so good.
And now on to our Wicked princess.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I thought she was the cutest thing. I just like she finished like the whole thing. I just had like the cutest, like a smile on my face the entire time. And I agree exactly with what they were saying. It's really hard to create a story. Something that I think is important is that when creating a story, don't forget about all the teeny tiny details. So like when you're talking about that guy, like and seeing him from like head to toe, make that guy a real guy. It can be a movie star. Like for me, I'd have it as Chris Evans and I know exactly what he'd be wearing. And like, right. Like, and it's like, and that he palpably does something to me. And if I saw him like walk into a room and now he's a real person, or it could be somebody you go to school with, whatever, but make sure that when you're singing about somebody and you're talking to people, make sure that they're real three-dimensional people that bring feelings to you, right? Whether they're a movie star or a real human being, but really make sure you're talking about it rather than just pretending to see somebody, because then audiences aren't dumb. We're gonna know. We're gonna be like, I like her, but there was something off. I don't know why, right? And that's a lot of the times what happens is like, at this point, everyone's so flipping talented. And it's like casting directors get these tapes and they're like, it's not that they're bad. They're like, you're not like anybody's bad. They're like, oh, she's good, but she's just not our girl. And they can't figure out why you're just not their girl, right? And it could be as simple as like, oh, I didn't realize, like, it didn't register with me. She didn't really truly see that person, right? You can feel it, right? Whether or not they understand what they're feeling. So, don't forget all of the stupid homework that goes on behind the scenes, because there is so much homework to make it look effortless and natural, and that's a lot of the times I think as actors that you forget how much work goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I know I talked about YouTube princesses. I should have mentioned that Kate is our favorite Mean Girls princess too. I got
royal blood here.
I got my 3 princesses here today. Perfect. Now we're moving on. Here we go. Okay, joining our top 15, here is Hannah Babiak. She'll be singing Don't Want to Be Here from Ordinary Days. Her Broadway role model is Lindsay Mendez. Judges, enjoy.
Fired me like 3 weeks later. My sublet promptly, whoops, fell through. As I checked into a hotel, I said it's just as well, because I don't want to be here. No, I don't want to be here now. I was not a negative person, so I packed up my bags, so I had no place to go. I opened a map and said, show me my future, because it isn't where I am. I finally got a job at some humdrum office, like everyone right out of school does. I sat there at my cubicle every day, sending faxes, and that's what my life was. So I went back home and said to my parents, I know what I've got to do. And since I am a dork, I moved to New York. And I started grad school. I really don't want to be here.
I love a little sassy. I thought that was really great. Kate, I'll start with you.
You're so sweet. This is I love this song. I think it's so funny. Your voice sounds great on this. The tape is like, it's a great structure for a tape, like well done. I think that my feedback for you, and this is a little bit of a personal preference, so like throw it away if you hate it. I am always a little bit hesitant of that sort of like settled back comedy. So like there's a difference between like, I don't want to be here, I really don't want to be here, and I don't want to be here, I really don't want to be here. Like we have to make sure the energy is always moving forward, right? Energy, no matter how passive this character is, she's still singing her feelings. So like there's still like has to be this like up and over energy, even if it's I hate everything about this. It can be I hate everything about this, or it can be I hate everything about this. And there are exceptions to this rule. There are people who've made whole careers out of like leaning back and not like committing any energy. But I think it's extremely rare that reads well, particularly on camera. And so I would say experiment with it in this world. If you like this version of comedy, like, yay, I love this version of comedy, but experiment with what it feels like to make sure the energy is still up and on and not like a muted two, even though lyrically it does sort of lean itself into that. Fight that urge and make sure you feel extremely passionately about how you do not want to be here. Because it's weird when we sing our feelings in period. Like it's already weird. But that means that we've elevated so much that speaking is no longer okay. We must sing, which means our energy has to match that need. And then when you have comedy, it's like times 1,000 because you got to get ahead of the audience. They can't get ahead of you. So take it and play with it, throw it away, do what you will with it. But that's my sort of 3 cents.
Beautiful. Courtney.
Agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
I agree with the master of comedy. I think as far as the voice goes though, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I keep saying this for everybody, but it's like, wow, wow, wow. That note that you hit at the end, I don't know this song at all and I don't know this show, but I was like, oh, because you held it and then you held it longer and then kind of placed it sort of differently. And I was like, dang, how do you have those skills? I still don't have those skills. Teach me. I'm like, wow, I'm never gonna work again.
You're so stupid. Don't you love when somebody's so talented and gorgeous like down? Like the jig is up. We all know how talented and gorgeous you are, okay? Sorry, Queen. Sit down. Okay.
Oh my gosh, Jackie, love you.
Anywho, that giving you a very high pony. I loved it. I thought you were amazing. I loved how you optioned up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so fierce and amazing. I agree exactly with what Kate was saying about the comedy of it and also about getting ahead of it. So don't get ahead of yourself. So at the end, is it and this is a choice, but maybe play with going to grad school. You know, you were excited and then it hits you and you have that moment of being like, oh, I don't want to be here either. Oh no. But don't play it on and then I went to grad school, because then you have nowhere to go on, oh, I don't want to be here. So don't get ahead of yourself. Allow yourself to experience it and then realize that you don't want to be there. And the same thing when you're talking to your parents, when you said, I moved back home and I said to my parents, I know what I got to do, right? So you're on this high of like, oh no, I figured it out. I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to go to grad school and everything's going to be like amazing. And then you get there and it's like, oh no, I hate this too. This sucks. I don't like that. So allow yourself to surprise yourself. You thought you had it figured out. You had all this crap happen to you. You went to Applebee's. You like were sending faxes. You hated that. You finally figured out your life. And you also hate that too. You know, however you want to play that, but don't get ahead of yourself, like how Kate was saying. But your voice is like amazing.
Yeah, totally. It's like you don't want to give it. You can't give the ending away.
Yeah.
Too soon. And then it's also like with comedy, if they're gonna laugh at something, right? You got to let them laugh and then have it die down before they laugh again. Otherwise, you might kill that other laugh. It's so like technical, but it's just like those nitpicky things, right? That we're like, this might help you. Who knows? But it might.
And it's all subjective, like Kate was saying. Like it might, like, you know, like every teacher is different. You know, like we all have a million different acting teachers, and like some people, you take something from them and something from them, and this works and that works. Same thing, like art is all subjective. Like you come and see Courtney and you love her, and the person sitting next to her, you know, was like, I didn't like it, and they saw the exact same performance. We don't like that person who didn't like it.
I'll put you not allowed in here.
They're not allowed in here. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's so interesting. Like that doll doesn't like Courtney. It's weird and it doesn't make sense.
Don't like that doll. Like,
We
do
don't
not-
like that though. We love her. You know, but it's all subjective. That's
But that's a beautiful way to put it, because like you said, not everybody loves everybody. They should love everybody.
they should.
They
They
should.
Everybody doesn't have to love Courtney.
Everybody loves Courtney. Okay,
Only Courtney.
little kids. Rounding out our top 15. Here we go. Here is Tommy Kaiser. He's singing I'm Alive from Next to Normal. His dream role would be Evan Hansen. Enjoy, Tommy.
I am what you want me to be. Out of your worst fear, you'll find it in me. Come closer. Come closer. I am more than memory. I am what might be. I am mystery. You know me. So show me when I appear. It's not so clear if I'm a simple spirit or I'm flesh and blood. But I'm alive, I'm so alive, and I feed off the fear that's behind your eyes. And I need you to need me, it's no surprise. I'm alive, so alive. I'm alive.
What a way to close out the top 15, right?
Oh my gosh.
Courtney, I'm going to start with you.
Shawn Mendes playing like Dear Evan Hansen. Like, that's all I say. I'm like, Shawn Mendes, watch out, boo. Like, I want to hear Waving Through a Window. That's what I want to hear. Or For Forever. I want to hear all of it. Any and all. It's like if Shawn Mendes and Ben Platt had a baby, it would be you, boo. Like that voice is it. I'm like, what? How are they coming out of the womb like this? Like, I don't get it. You just can't teach that kind of like pop sensibility, musical theater thing with the ease of the voice and the control. Like, you just can't teach it. It's a gift that you have been given.
A very marketable gift.
Yes, see a little bit more like even at the end you're saying like I'm alive. Is that what he said? I'm alive?
Yeah.
I'm alive. And it seemed a little bit like but are you though, boo? Because like I need to see a little bit more energy of like I'm alive and then button it. I'm such a big button person. Like if it's a bump, you gotta like end it because it almost seems like sometimes as an actor you're like, did I do okay? You know, you don't want to go, I'm alive. You know, it's like and like just stand there like strong, like I did this, you know, but not too much and not over the top, and then don't like do it like, but it's got to be from the emotion.
It was weird. We do weird things.
You're the worst. We're so nitpicky. It's because you guys are literally phenomenal. So I loved it.
Kate, I'm going to move to you.
Okay, first of all, where did you get that banana shirt? It needs to be mine. I'm obsessed with this banana shirt. Literally, he started singing. I was like, he's so cute. The shirt, give me that shirt. I need to know where that came from. Please send me an email. I truly like was giggling. I love clothing with fruit on it. I don't know why. It's so cute. It's stupid. You're adorable and so clearly so talented. Here's the trick about this is for me, I love this song and I love this show. I've never been in it. I don't know anything about it other than as an audience member and a fan. Here's the trick. This is like addiction, right? You are the drug. You are the thing that is ruining someone's life. There is an element of like devil in this song that has to be present because you're not alive. Not to like ruin the plot of the musical for everyone. You are not a human being. You are alive in her head and you are ruining her life. And that is like so weird and cool and like such an amazing musical. But like it is devilish, right? Like this is where we learn that like you're not a real person, that you died. And this song is like that moment where, Courtney is like, mind is just blown. Yes, he's not really alive. But there has to be an element of you have to acknowledge somewhere in there. It's a little bit like that wink and nod we were talking about before. You have to know that it's not as simple as, hey, it's not. It's, I am going to kill you. Because that's what it's devastating. That this moment is devastating. It's so powerful. So it's more layered and more complex than just like, yeah, musical theater. Like it's a little seductive and a little bit dangerous. And I think you can totally dial those up with this. I think then it's gonna be great. You'd be great in this role.
Courtney's like, I didn't know that show was about that or that song.
I'm like, you better button it all big and stuff.
You're still right. You're still gonna commit to the like blam.
Yeah.
But you're still doing an evil, sinister, like I'm an ethereal ghost that's ruining my mom's life kind of way.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly what Kate said. I mean,
it's normal.
Yeah.
Oh no! Take my musical theater card away. I don't know the show.
That's okay.
That's okay. We still love you, Disney.
Yeah. You're still a Disney princess.
You're still our Disney princess. Jackie, did you want to add anything?
No, it's exactly yeah. And then I was gonna say actually, because he barreled the camera and I was like, oh, I don't think that's really good, but that actually could be really effective if you played it in the way that, you know, you're in someone's mind. You're literally tormenting her from the inside of her mind and using that. I was like, oh, this could be really great. So if you take all of Kate's notes and then use that as a device, I think that it would be flipping epic.
Yeah.
That is great. Well, when we come back, our judges will see performances from our bottom 3 performers who will then battle it out for a spot to be saved in the top 15. Welcome back. Our judges will now watch performances from the bottom 3 performers who didn't make it into the top 15. The judges can unanimously decide to allow one of the contestants to move forward in the competition. So up first, here is Andrew Nellen singing Forever from Dear Evan Hansen. Enjoy.
And there he goes, racing toward the tallest tree. From far across the yellow field, I hear him calling, follow me. There we go, wondering how the world might look from up so high. One foot after the other, one branch then to another. I climb higher and higher, I climb till the entire sun shines on my face. Then I suddenly feel the branch give way. I'm on the ground, my arm goes numb. I look around and I see him come to get me. He's come to get me. And everything's okay.
Oh my.
Next is Savannah Foy singing Magic in the Band from Big Fish. Enjoy. Finally, here is Nikki Alf singing One Perfect Moment from Bring It On. Enjoy.
I'm 17, there are so many things that I can't control. If I start to freak or feel weak, I focus on just one goal. Turn down the panic, attack this routine like it owns my soul. Turn up the music so loud that it swallows us whole. And then there we are, we burn like a star. We're safe inside the world we know. Then suddenly I'm in prep for the climb, and here I go, high in the air. There is a moment just before you start to fall. Live in that one moment. I know that if I can just stick the landing, then I'll know that somehow my life will be fine. So I'll go through the rest of my life understanding what it feels like to shine.
Well, when we come back, our judges are going to share who they're going to save for the bottom three. Welcome back, judges. Have you decided to save someone from our bottom three?
We have, and it was a hard decision because everyone is phenomenal, and that's the thing. That's the takeaway from today is that everyone is so talented, and you're already like winners. But yeah, we had to pick one.
And the person that we're saving this week is Andrew.
Andrew Nellen is moving on.
Nellen, yes.
Okay, tell us why. Yeah.
Andrew, what an incredible performance. I honestly am very, very confused as to how we even had to make this decision for you, because that was absolutely stunning. It's so emotionally attached. I was like near tears at the end. It's so beautiful. And your voice is bonkers. Like you hit that note and like, it's so beautiful and so strong. I was like, you could play this role tomorrow if we had Broadway. So it was really, really lovely. That's all I have to say.
That is beautiful. Listen, congratulations to everyone who is moving on to our top 15. We'll be back next week on October 23rd at 8 p.m. to announce who is making it into the top 10. Now, make sure to follow Broadway World on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to find out when the next round of voting is open to the public. Judges, I adore you. This has been wonderful. Kate, Courtney, Jackie, thank you for joining us today as our guest judge.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Everybody stay well, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.